Ladies and gents, let's kick this off by doing this. Doo-doo-doo. All right. Ready, stand up. Here we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Line up, line up, line up, ladies and gents. It is that day. Happens every 4 years. Well, not quite yesterday at least, but it's still ongoing. Welcome to yet another Hodlnots Happy Hour Hangout session, edition number 39. Pity it's not edition number 47. You know, you know. But welcome to it. Hello, Marius. Hello, Marcel. Hello, Wendy. Hello, Vicky.
Hello,
Hey
hello, hello,
everyone,
everybody.
welcome.
It's great having everybody here on this auspicious
Love the
occasion.
music.
Of course you do. Well, texting you. But yeah, welcome to it. Oh no, great to everybody else. I forget it's not just us. Welcome to everybody else from around the world. We've got some Swiss, we've got some Americans, we've got South Africans, of course. Who else do we have? We've got Canadians, Australians, that's the Germans. Who else do we have? We have, let's see, we've got South Africans, we've also got some Brits, all represented. Yep, yep. Brilliant. Oh, we got a Japanese as well. Welcome as well. Truly global community that is the Hodlnots and Bitcoin Trend and Forecast communities. So great to have all of you here today in the session. And as mentioned, as you should all know by now, there has been an election going on. Funny enough, this year it's been, I think, in a number of the countries, it was something like 1 billion plus people were voting for throughout the various democratic countries. So quite a big year, 2024. For some people known as 2020 more. So, and it is Bitcoin at a new all-time high. Brilliant. 75,470, I think it hit last. Um, you guys excited about that?
I think it's the start.
It is absolutely the start, Marcel. And we mentioned, I think, on the last call, even with the Huddle Fire call, it's great to have seen, when was it? On the 23rd of October, almost exactly a year since the last one. That is the 1 day Huddle Cross or Golden Huddle Cross. 55 up over that 200. We're back in that golden zone. Plenty of opportunity. Right now, Bitcoin is testing both the 12-hour and the 1 day resistance. But yeah, all-time highs. Marius, I mean, you must be pretty ecstatic as well around this.
Yeah, pretty happy, but we still need to be cautious. But I think overall, it's really good. The sentiment is good for the market,
Absolutely.
and I think that's why people are so positive. And because we can now see light. It's like we gone through this tunnel for 2 years and we see the light.
Absolutely. There is light at the end of this tunnel. That's Bitcoin shining brightly. And we're going to be chatting a little bit more about that shortly. It is about, I mean, Bitcoin and crypto in general can really represent freedom, whether it be financial freedom, freedom from, centralized entities and that kind of thing as well. But whether Bitcoin is running and you guys are long-term hodling and your Doge is up and everything else, and obviously we're all looking at Theta and a bunch of others, but if the general sentiment of the crypto market is up and positive and buoyant, what is that saying? Rising tide lifts all boats. So yeah, I mean, we're going to see the coins running and scalping, and we've just looking at my watch list today. Geez, I think I don't see any red. Actually, I lie. There's probably like 8 out of my 380 coins are a little bit in red, but everything else is green. And that is pretty amazing. So today is more about the red, white, and blue, and it's also about you. So this Hot Nods Happy Hour Hangout session, we try and educate you. We try and have a little bit of fun and try get some of your input. So you guys all see that Q&A section down below. We're going to be making use of that as well because we're celebrating Yes Vember because yes, we're positive, we're yes men in the good light, in the good way. So for those of you who are scalpers or those of you who actually just trade, whether it be day trading or long-term trade as well, we'd like to hear from you. Which coin would you say yes to, and what percentage trade are you looking to get? And whether it be you're scalping and you're wanting to get, 7.3% for you, that'd be amazing in a couple of minutes, or whether it be a 33% return on your theta. What is it that you would like to say yes to in terms of what would you be happy with in terms of a trade. All right. Obviously, we're more into scalping. So whether it be something in a couple of minutes, or whether it be, 50% return on your gala, let us know in that Q&A section down below why, because we'd like to hear from you. And just for that, we're going to give you guys some BTAF tokens, or at least we're going to pull one person's results from that. So please do pop it into that Q&A section down below. Cool. But I think, Marius, again, thank you for being here on this Hodlnots Happy Hour Hangout session with us today. Again, an auspicious day, a great day. Results are out for the elections. What does it mean? What does the US elections mean for crypto, perhaps? And what are your thoughts in general, Marius?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. And most of you know that we have predicted really for the last 3 years, really 4 years, that Donald Trump is expected to win this election. And I got a lot of flack for that, but I had so many messages, today and phone calls, literally every 5 minutes a phone call, people just congratulating, but not congratulating me really, but congratulating us for cryptos, being in cryptos, and because of the light, we can see the light now coming. So we've been predicting that Donald Trump's going to win, but the way that we based it upon was just in the chart patterns. Now, most of you that follow me on long term and Elliott Wave, and Wendy has got some data, many members are here that has got the data, knows that when Bitcoin now starts to break out. Now, remember, there's going to be a little bit of turmoil, and people need to understand that this win of Donald Trump today is not the win. The election has not been certified. I hope people understand that. This is just like, imagine you in school and you're voting for the head boy or the class captain, and you've done your vote, and they've tallied up the votes, and they say, okay, right, the winner is so and so, but that class captain is not yet the class captain. Now, what has to happen in the American election is that the votes now goes to the state. I'm just going to dumb it down. Then each state then sends the vote to basically to the government. They then come and then they vote, and that happens on 17 December, I believe. Now, the person who's going to preside over that vote to announce that Donald Trump has won the election of today, which only happens in 17 December, 30 plus days from now. Remember, in my report of the chart of the DXY, I clearly state there the winner will not be announced for up to 30 days. It's actually a little bit more than 30 days. And guess who presides over that integrity process? Kamala Harris, the vice president. So remember, you're not out of the woods yet. You need to understand that. Nobody buys a spike just like that, and I think all of us understand this. You don't buy a spike. You actually get ready to exit a spike. And the easy way to do that, John, really is if people just use the indicator, the Harl Fire indicator. It will tell you when there's a top coming. As a matter of fact, you'll notice that yesterday and the day before, a lot of altcoins started flashing a bottom pivot. And then when you look at the success ratio, 80, 90, 100%, that told you to buy. And then on yesterday's call, for example, I gave a buy order on Sol, buy order on several coins, and I said, the Harl Fire's in, boom, it looks like a bam, bam, we're going to get in. And we traded that up today, 10, 15, 20%, some coins. So effectively, to come back to your question, what does it look like for cryptos? And we can discuss a little bit more if you want.
Yeah.
But in general terms, what's going to happen now long term, let's say into December and January, looks beautiful. The market obviously breaks out upwards and it goes to certain high points, which are in our reports. We're not going to discuss it now. I can probably show you some charts. Sure. But everything looks really good, and we're poised for a huge breakout in cryptos. And John, the old thing, what I always like to tell people is, you waited for 2 years, you went through the sideways movement, you made money up and down with scalp trading. Don't be surprised if that process took you 2 years and you haven't seen a dramatically increase in your portfolio, but then over the next 2 or 3 months, you suddenly make all your gains.
Yeah.
It's like traveling. Okay, It's like traveling in Knysna from Port Elizabeth to Knysna. You've done it. Okay.
Yeah.
You travel from Port Elizabeth along the coast, and then you wait and wait and wait till you get to Cape Town, till you see the ocean, and suddenly the ocean opens up.
Hmm.
So you travel for 4 or 5 hours, and suddenly, boom, there's the ocean. That's how it sees in cryptos at the moment. 2 years sideways, 2, 3, 4 months, boom, we make all our profit. But for us here that are doing scalp trading, we don't really care what the market does, to be honest. If the market goes up or down, we still make money. We just look for those coins that break out. Over to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, by all means, if you want to share a chart or two, that'd be great. But for sure, the hodl fire is incredibly powerful with those pivot bottoms, those pivot tops, and in between, we have a number of members who use the hodl fire on the 1 hour, the 2 hour, 4 hour, but they're scalping those same coins at the same time, Marius.
100%. If you look at, for example, here, the Bitcoin chart. Now, for us who are doing, let's say, scalp trading, it's beautiful because remember, the top pivot came on here. We sold. Now, if you come to the bottom, you'll see that you'll be able to buy that. I'm only now on the 4 hour. So you exit there, you buy here. Exit there, you buy here. Exit there. It's such an easy process, when you follow that. You exit there, you buy when the pivot comes on. And I think it came on about there. So you can trade it up and down. Now, what has happened here now is that we have hit a double top, let's say there and there. And then as I explained last night, I said there's a chart that shows that we go up here, and then do not be surprised if we come all the way down here to 62. And then we start this upcycle. I just think that we need to come down to 62. But how do you identify that? It's actually a really, really easy process. All I do is I use these bottom pivots, top pivots, the hodl fire. Now remember, I've turned some indicators off here. I'm just showing you what I just showed you now earlier. Like there's your top, exit. There's your bottom, buy. Let's have a look here. Here it told us to get in on the market here. And you will see there's a black tag. Now, look at this quickly, just for the new people here. The black tag tells us that when a pivot comes on, the win rate is 95%. In general terms, if I explain it very dumb and easy for myself, it tells me that when a pivot comes in, it's 95% accurate. So now that this pivot came in here, I was looking at that yesterday when that came on, and then you can see it's going to go up. Now, the time point that I'm going to exit the market here is when the blue pivot will probably come on there, and then there will be a sell signal. And of course, you can go and put the auto fire indicators on and see the momentum and all that kind of stuff. And then I just simply exit there. And can you see here the blue line? So we're basically exactly at that point, just a little bit earlier. But we could go sideways and then come down to the bottom. But how will you identify that? Very easy. Just use the indicators. If you don't use the indicators, you're going to be like walking in the dark, feeling. You're kind of like blind. You can't go through life like that. Then on the bottom, this comes in again, and boom, there we go. Now, the US election should be no surprise to anybody because if you actually go and have a look at this video that we posted, this was posted on 23 November 2023, 1 year ago. We showed you who's going to win. I say here, who wins the US presidential election? You can go and have a look at that video. Just go and search on YouTube for it. And we clearly say what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. You can see that played out. So you can trust our data. Our data is going to be correct. The same as what this hodl fire is correct. It works with all the data that we have. Now, what I can do, John, this is just, I'm giving people a little bit of extra information because people have taken the time to be here. I'm showing you basically that the market is going to break out here. We're going to come down here basically, and then I think up, and then we go sideways, then we break up. For more data further, just come back. We can show you an Elliott wave in long term. But John, maybe it's also a good idea, and we can discuss a little bit how does the Bitcoin dominance work, because people probably want to know when does the altcoins break out, over to you.
Yeah, no, agreed. I think Bitcoin dominance chart would be amazing. And I think for a lot of people on this call who've never heard of Bitcoin dominance, at the moment, I mean, this is my rough understanding, but Marius will give a much better explanation. But at the moment, the focus is on Bitcoin. The money is flowing into Bitcoin, whether through trading like we do or through ETFs and that kind of thing. And so very much at the moment, the focus and the cash flow really is around Bitcoin. And once Bitcoin, settles a bit, then what happens is the money flows into the large, medium caps, and then your altcoins really. And that's what a lot of us, especially as scalpers, what we're waiting for. We're waiting for these coins. And we've seen a few of them. We've seen Hard, we've seen Troy, we've seen Santos, we've seen a bunch of them that are just pushing 100% in a day. And that's what we're looking for. So what does that Bitcoin dominance really mean, Marius, in terms of, because we can pull it up on TradingView, what are we looking for? What are the kind of the indicators to say, hey, watch out, altcoins are going to pump?
Okay, that's a great question. I can get into that. Man, I tell you what, John, can you take this pie away in front of my face here?
It's a little distracting, isn't it?
It's really distracting. I'm looking at this apple pie. I'm going like, man, I just want to eat it. And
depends on what diet you guys are in, but absolutely, it's we're here celebrating not only America, but we're also celebrating Australia as well. If you guys had a look around the room, have you looked at the studio? Have you seen this cross-cultural exploration of things? We've got a bunch of Australian things all and around. But yeah, Morris, if we can have a look at that Bitcoin dominance chart, as long as you're not too distracted. While we're waiting for that, just a quick reminder, some of you have dropped in some really great submissions. There's a really great one of my favorites. This person says, like to see 100% return on BTAF token. So our contest is, what coin would you say yes to running, and what percentage would you like to see? Wendy, yeah, you can chime in by all means.
Oh, I just wanted to say, I would like to know how many people would think that Marius would either choose the apple pie or the Lamington. Which one, or the Vegemite back on the shelf next
Oh,
to me?
no.
Out of those three, what do you think Marius would choose?
okay,
Yeah.
Wendy, I'll tell you what I can choose,
Mhm.
what I will choose, but then you have to say the word. Promise me you'll say this Afrikaans word.
Oh.
Okay, that Lamington there is called an eystervarkie. Say that word.
Say it, Wendy.
You
Say it.
Aster Farky.
Okay, well,
I don't speak Afrikaans. It's quite obvious.
Hang on.
Aster
Farky.
Farky.
So I'm gonna put the spelling. Oh, I'm gonna put the spelling in the chat. All right. Well, at least
Spelling doesn't help with Afrikaans.
yeah, I know. So what I'm gonna
Unless
do
you
is
put
I'm just gonna
Thank
put
you,
this,
Vicky.
okay, and
You have
I'm
to
gonna
put it
see.
in
Yes,
phonetically.
Yestervarky. Yestervarky.
So regardless, the answer to that question when you pose are the Aesopharkis, which are your Lamingtons. Anyway, not to get too distracted. I see some other people are throwing. Okay, you guys have all been guessing as to which one Morris would choose. But let's quickly go back to the contest, and then we can get into the Bitcoin dominance. And then, actually, yeah, Morris, you take it away, and then I'll keep on bringing those contest entries in. Which coin would you say yes to, and what percentage? Go, Morris. It's up to you.
Okay, wonderful. You know, the Bitcoin dominance is really important to understand that just mentally, from a mental perspective, because the more information you have, the better trader you can become and the better you can use your scalp trading indicators. Now, when we look at this from a perspective here in 2016, you can see here is 2017, the top, let's say about 1 year in January of 2018. So this is the inverse of Bitcoin. So remember, although this is the bottom, Bitcoin topped at that point. But what has happened here is in 2016 July, when Bitcoin went up, the Bitcoin dominance dropped. Because remember, when Bitcoin went up, the altcoins went up as well, but the altcoins went up about 3, 4, 5, 10 times higher than Bitcoin. So what happens is that gives you the inverse, and this is what we call the Bitcoin dominance. Then what happened here in 2018 till about the top year of 2019, till COVID basically came, was when Bitcoin rose. But you remember the altcoins did not really rise that much. And then as COVID hit here in 2021 January, Bitcoin dominance dropped again. This means that Bitcoin went up, but the altcoins went up higher than what Bitcoin went, and the altcoins went up 5 times, 10 times. And everybody knows, for example, that we bought Theta at 40 cents. It went up to go to $16, and we made about 50,000% gain. Then what happened is here on January 2022, we were on the bottom. The Bitcoin dominance went up and nobody made any money in the altcoins. You'll notice that if you hold altcoins long term, they just had the same spot where they were 2 years ago. But look what's happening here. These points here, when it dropped here, is when the altcoins moved. When it dropped there, the altcoins made huge money. Look what's about to happen. The altcoins are about to explode in value. Now, we're going to zoom in quickly there to the top. You can see here, there's a gravestone doji with a long candle and perhaps another little doji forming there. Similar to what you can see in the Bitcoin TAF reports, a gravestone doji looks similar like that. But many people are asking me, oh, here it is, there it is. A doji can also look like this. See, something like this. And you'll notice that Bitcoin is doing something similar. That candle is that one. There's another long candle there and then another one next to it. We could easily come down. The point is that the trend here is down. And this is where the altcoins are basically going to move. But one thing that I'm going to explain to you, what nobody in the world understands this, but I'm just going to explain it very dumb to you in a dumb format so that I can understand it. It's called the US net liquidity. Now, the US net liquidity is this blue line that I put in here for you. When the blue line, just going to make it very simple. When the blue line goes to the upside, you have an altcoin spike. Similar to what we had here. Can you remember here that we had a mini altcoin spike where the altcoins went up 200, 300, 400%?
Yes.
This is about to happen again. We've got that down cycle here, and there we're going to go. So that same move that you see here is about to happen here. And if you follow me in the Elliott Wave long-term reports, you'll notice we've got some other charts, algorithm charts that shows that the market is breaking up. Now, for the people that are here that have done the effort to be on this call, I'm going to show you what Bitcoin is going to do over the next 10 and 20 years.
Wow.
But we're not going to show you the little bits and pieces how Bitcoin is going to move up. Because remember, some of these drops here can be, that one is about 90%. These drops here, 80%. Okay, but in general terms, let's say just broadly speaking now, what Bitcoin is doing is an expanded flat or an ascending broadening wedge. So Bitcoin is there. It's done number 2. It's done number 3. We're in 4. We're now halfway there. Remember, we're about to break up. Many of you know, if you're in Hodlnots, you know about the cup and handle. So what happens is that distance is the distance that we should break out to, let's say, around about 140,000 eventually. And then what happens is we're going to go through a period here where you are going to make insane money. I'm predicting it here now, that this period here is the period for scalp trading, day trading. Nobody in the world is going to make money here because they won't know how to make it. Now, Wendy knows about this. Nico knows about this. John, you know about it. Vicky knows about it. We all know. I've actually told Wendy, and we've gone through some stuff here, and Wendy has actually posted it out as well. What's going to happen here by, let's say the top could be, mark this in your book, October of 2025, a tentative top. I'm not going to go into the details now, but that to be the tentative top. We're going to go, there will be 2 tops, not just one, but this will be the last top. I call that top number 5, which is actually called the Golden Gate. And then we go sideways, and then eventually we break out upwards and we go to massive heights. Now, this pattern here is similar to the Apple pattern. I may just quickly show that. I'm not going to draw on this. I'm just going to leave it like that. Now, remember, this is the Apple chart pattern, the one that I use in my algorithm. Can you see the similarities here? Bitcoin is here on the bottom, right there, cup and handle there, breaking out. It's going to go up there. It's not going to do exactly what this does. Now, interesting thing is just for you that are listening here. Bitcoin is moving like a rabbit at the moment, and it's going to catch up with Apple. Apple is one of the fastest moving stocks in the world. Bitcoin is going to catch up with Apple, and then eventually it's going to take over from Apple, and then it's just going to go parabolic. So for you that are sitting on the call here that are very young, that are somewhere like 20, 25, 30, even 40, even 45. In the next 20 years, if you focus on increasing your Bitcoin count, man, I tell you, you're going to be immensely successful. You'll be creating generational wealth. If you have 10 Bitcoin, imagine when that Bitcoin goes to 2 million, 3 million. I predict this is going to go to 30 million, 34 million, to the top in about 30 to 40 years. But short term, you look at about 10 in your lifetime, and it will just keep on going. But the altcoins are also where a lot of money lies. So don't disregard the altcoins. There's some big money coming in here. So I thought, Wendy, I will, or John, I would just quickly show that move. And then we can talk a little bit more. People want to know a little bit more about the election. But in all honesty, the election is over. The thing that I just want to mention here is you have to remember that although Donald Trump won today, he's just won on paper. What has to happen on 17 December is that they still have to vote, the electoral votes. Then they're going to certify the election. But you also have to remember, next week this time, Judge Merchant is possibly going to announce that he's going to sentence Donald Trump. Remember, for the case that they brought against him. Judge Merchant still has the authority to send Donald Trump to jail. Keep that in mind. Remember, a judge is more powerful than a president-elect. So Donald Trump could sit in jail. And then imagine what that can do to cryptos. Unless Judge Merchant, let's say, throws the case out and says the Supreme Court said we can't go after Donald Trump, boom, case is done, then it's another win for Donald Trump. If Donald Trump wins that, then you have to remember by November, then we get into 17 December. Kamala Harris has to oversee the certification. They could perhaps think about this now. If Judge Merchant says that the case is going to go ahead, we're going to place a, let's say, an order on Trump either to go to jail or not. So Donald Trump could sit in jail. He's found guilty. Do you think that they are going to certify the election on 17 November for a felon? It won't happen, guys. There's going to be something in the law that they're going to pass. So we talk about things that could potentially happen that can drop the market. And this is why I say, be careful. The market can come down when you are trading your scalp trading now. So use the indicators. It will tell you. And then even if Donald Trump gets certified on 17 December, on approximately, I believe it's January 6, then what happens is that certification goes to the Senate. And the Senate then has to vote and certify that election with the ceremonial process. That can still be stopped there as well. So remember, Donald Trump is not yet the president. You have to understand that. If Donald Trump is found guilty, he's being sentenced, he's a felon, he may not become president. Then what happens is J.D. Vance becomes president. And then they have to go and choose a vice president. So we're not out of the woods yet. But I can tell you this, that in my data, I see that crypto spike and that Donald Trump's going to overshadow every single obstacle. I don't know how he does it. So that's just a few facts here. Okay. But long term, we go up in cryptos. There is no major drop. And I think, John, that's probably what people want to know. Is there going to be a major drop? No, there won't. Over to you, John.
Yeah, listen, I mean, this is really great, and we're really privileged to have this information and your insights around the next 20 to 30 years. Hopefully, I'm still around for that. But like you said, now's the opportunity to start building with the bigger picture in mind, generational wealth kind of thing. Bear in mind, all of you on the call are all involved in crypto. You're all aware of it. You might have family, friends who a little bit of naysayers, but you see the global adoption really happening and people starting to understand it. And the only way we understand things is through education. Bitcoin Training Forecast is a place for that. I've got a question, one last question for you, Marius, just around, we've heard around Trump's approach and stance around crypto. That's been quite, it's been in the news the last couple of months around his adoption, Kamala Harris's, adoption as well to a lesser degree. What do you think if Donald Trump survives the court case and he isn't imprisoned and gets certified and becomes president? What do you think that implication will be for crypto within the States, crypto globally, if Donald Trump comes into play or into power, confirmed? Is it a positive move? Do you think he'll keep his word? Do you think that Binance might return to the States? What do you think the implication of him actually being confirmed as president has for crypto? Will he keep his word on certain things, do you think?
Okay, if Donald Trump gets inaugurated on 20 or 21 January, that's actually where they inaugurate the president, and the president becomes officially the president. You can't take him out then unless you impeach him. But we believe he's going to become the president, in January. Then what happens is you're going to find that Binance will eventually come back. Remember, we predicted that about 2 years ago. We said that by the year 2025, Binance is going to come back 2026. Binance will come back. They'll be officially back in America, and you're going to see cryptos explode, like literally explode. But remember this now, cryptos go up in 2 spikes. So there's going to be a burst of people that are so excited about Donald Trump and cryptos that we have a humongous move. And then what happens is you have to understand, guys, I'm going to talk about deep stuff here. Okay, and it's not conspiracy theories. Remember, I've been in the military. I've been exposed to these kind of people. Let's just call them the deep state actors. They literally exist. Although Donald Trump has won, you have not yet seen the deep state actors, the people that want to go to war, the people that want to destroy this guy, the people that want to destroy you and me from not making money. So what's going to happen, John, as soon as we have that first vertical spike, which I call gate number 4, as soon as we go up and up and up, they're going to have to do something to stop that growth. And there's going to be an event that stop it in its track. This is why I'm urging people, use the Hodl Fire, guys, because the Hodl Fire is going to show you the top. You then get out, and it can show you the top on a 3-day, a 1 week. You can use it on 12 hours, 4 hours, 3 hours, 20 seconds, 1 minute. Now, what happens is you get out there, because then we're going to go through a terrible move to the downside. It's not all guns and roses and Coca-Cola and rum. It's not going to be like that, You're going to have to be careful to make the money here. Take your profit when you move up. Then what happens is there's a second burst of price action, and cryptos just explode, and they do exactly the same. And then what happens is you're going to have almost about a 90% drop. Well, minimum 60, but up to 90% drop in certain coins. But we will come and warn you about that. The beauty about that is, guys, remember, don't fear a drop. A fear is your friend. A drop is your friend. Because when we know where that high point is, we get out and we come and buy the bottom. But that drop will be very, very quick. And then that will be evidence that they're trying to destroy the economy. Because remember this now. You have to understand when you're on this call here, and it's not a conspiracy theory. I've seen this my entire life. I grew up in an orphanage. And the amount of people that stopped me from making money, I tell you what, I can write a book about all these people deliberately. There's forces that will stop you and me from making money. As soon as you make money, something disastrous is going to happen. Because if you are financially free, you become a free thinker. You can travel anywhere in the world. You can get any passport in any world. You can live anywhere you want. And you're not working an 8 to 5 job. While they get you and you pay a mortgage and you've got all these debit cards and a car loan, you are in that system and you're treading a wheel. So my challenge to you is, in this new year, from now onwards, get rid of all your debt. Get rid of your credit cards. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. If you can't afford that new vehicle, sell it. Drive the cheapest car your ego can afford. When I was in South Africa, I drove a Ford that cost me 1,000 Rand. I remember that the clutch, what do you call that thing? we don't the gearbox knob was loose, and I always had to push it in before I can change the gear. It was loose. It was 1,000 Rand. And so I drove the cheapest car my ego can afford. But what I did is I polished it so that people think I'm driving a smart, brand new, beautiful car. But on the inside, it wasn't that fancy. But I wasn't going to make debt. And I challenge you to get rid of your debt and then put your money in cryptos, and don't lose your money in cryptos. Trade it up, make it more the whole time, and stay out of debt and just grow your portfolio. So, John, that's how we see it. Just to summarize it, we're going to have a burst in price. Remember, we just need to get over the hurdle now of Donald Trump being elected. Yeah. Then we spike to the upside. They're going to stop that spike. Then we come down. What I call a falling knife 1, a falling knife 2. Then Trump is going to manage that with the stock market. Then we're going to go up again. And then they're going to stop it again for the second time. Then we drop badly. But as I say, it's not a problem for us, John, because we use the indicators. We know where the top and bottom is going to be. Over to
Absolutely. We do indeed. Anything can happen. The political scene that might affect the crypto scene, and stop losses are your friends, of course, everybody. But yeah, using the hodl fire, you're able to get in those tentative tops and pivot bottoms as well, whether it be the 4-hour, the 12-hour, the day. It really is powerful like that. But Marius, yeah, thank you for that. I know there are a bunch of you asking various questions. If there's time at the end of this, we'll maybe look at 1 or 2, but obviously you have your long-term trade report calls. If you guys have questions, jump on there as well. People appreciating your insight, Marius, so thank you for that. There is a really interesting question around BRICS, which I would love to get into at some point. But yeah, just quickly before we get into Marcel's section, because I mean this is where the heart and soul really of Hodlnots, and like Marius has said, after a period of time, it's gonna be scalping and day trading, and using the HODL 5 for those day trades and scalping in and out. But for the meantime, we have a combination of the long-term holds, scalping when the spike comes as well. I'm actually watching Bitcoin now recovering on the 15-minute. For those who know, front of the mountain, still beautiful. We got a little bit of resistance, but hey, I mean, yesterday this time I wouldn't think we'd be sitting and struggling at $74,393. But yeah, we're getting there. Things are looking up. In terms of those of you who continue to drop in the contest ones, this ties in a little bit with what Marcel's next section is going to be. Somebody was asking, I think I mentioned it, 100%, sorry, 1,000% return on BTAF. That would be amazing. Of course, that would be great. Someone's saying 20% on AVAX using the HODL 5 would be a great one as well. I really like this one. It says any coin, but aiming for 1% per minute in the scalp trade, as Wendy always says. Hey, Wendy, I mean, that's kind of what we look for. I mean, imagine 1% per candle per minute. That's 60% in a minute. I mean,
Minimum. Yeah, but this is this is a really good way that we can make extra money because we don't trade all the coins. So this is why Marius has a really big following because a lot of people don't have time to sit and trade. But for those of us who do, we absolutely love it. And we look for certain coins and we look for coins that are running 1% or more per minute. And just for a perfect example, if you want to see a live market, Pixfy, Pixfi, it just ran over 25% in 10 minutes. Wow. That's the perfect kind of scalp trading coin that we're looking for. And we catch those spikes. So our den is alive and well with traders. We were on that coin. It was called the BB Rider. Finds those coins, called it. Volume was picking up on it. So it's just a lovely way to make extra income. And it's a fun way to make money fast on 1 minute when minutes matter. So we'd love to teach everybody how to do what we do. We'll look forward to seeing you guys on the next course for sure.
Absolutely. When speaking of, I mean, listen, so many tangents, so many rabbit holes that we can go down. I mean, we're currently not wrapping up, but we're in the second concluding week of our current October course. A bunch of the students are currently on this call. Great to see you guys. And we can actually be looking at the exchanges and trading today. We're very excited because, I mean, I don't think I've seen such a green day across the board for so long. But some of the other quick coins in terms of entries, Roy, you've got a great question there. That's something definitely for the Lodge, which you're a member of. Someone asking about BTAF again. Theta, 10,000%. Okay, that would be something. I mean, 1,000% on Theta would be amazing, let alone 10. Somebody else also on Theta. Theta hit $5 and then $15 for Christmas. Sure. What else? There were a couple of others. Theta, 100%.
Absolutely, we all want Theta to go up.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone saying fart coin to the moon. Yes, fart coin is one of these crazy coins. I don't know, Marcel, if it's in your report for this week because I know that it has been running, but we'll have a look at that shortly. Yeah.
I don't think I included one of those, but I'll make sure to include one of them
for the next one when I'm not going to be around. You guys can crack all the great jokes on that. Cool. Well, let's have a quick look at the den percentages as well, because this is what it's all about. Not just for those who are on Binance, but also those of you who are trading on Mexi and a bunch of the other exchanges. We try and cater for everybody in different exchanges. So Marcel, all yours.
Thanks, John. Yeah, we had 2 good weeks again in the den, in the community. Let's have a look. This was for the week ending 27th of October. Just glancing at this, you can see Pixel, Rad, Goat, Troy, SLP. We had quite a few great trades here. There was a 4%, 4%. Here was a 10%, long and short. So some of our members do short the market at times. So then they scalp it up and down. The majority of our members do, however, do long trades. So let's have a look here. There was a almost 10% throughout the day. So great scalping. For those of you, like I always say, that hasn't been on one of these calls, we make money while everything goes sideways. So scalping is definitely, and like Wendy said, it's fun. It's fun to scalp. We've got a great community. We call coins together. We all profit from those calls. So if you haven't looked into it, have a look on our website and become a Hodlnot. Then the next week, let's have a look. This was this last week, basically. Santos ran well. Pros ran well. There was almost 10% on Santos taken there. There was like a whole bunch of Santos trades. I didn't include all of them. The same with this coin. There was like everyone profited from it. There was 8%, 6% on Alpine, Troy again, 5% on grass. Yeah, someone took nearly 20% in about half an hour on BC coin. Yeah, it was a 12% on hard. Yeah, someone grabbed 28% in an hour. It's actually one of our trainers. 20% in an hour on those three coins.
Amazing.
So the scalping was very good last week. And again, here's another 10%. Thanks for the call. Like I mentioned, we've got a den where we pull coins together. We've got multiple eyes on the charts, and we call it in there before we trade it. And we basically all profit from the same pool. So another 2 great weeks in the den. That's it from my side.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, Marcel. I mean, like pros was great. I mean, I was trading pros on the Huddle Fire as well as scalping it. It was looking great in the day charts. We've had a couple of these, and this is all these coins are gonna start popping. Like Marius has mentioned as well with the Bitcoin dominance. Looking to start coming down. As soon as that starts coming down, funds flow into the altcoins. We're going to see these coins pop, and Huddle Fires and scalping are going to be the way forward, especially for these alts. I mean, Marius has some really great reports around some of these coins. I've seen a couple of you comment around SPX, but I'm looking at INJ. I mean, INJ has been around such a long time. INJ is up 20% for the day. It's over a couple of hours. I think over 11 hours has done 20%. I mean, it's great to see these guys running. And if you can trade them, you can scalp trade them, you're in and out, just before you go to work or drop the kids off at school, whatever, jump into a running coin, grab 5, 8, 10%. There's your meat and potatoes, your bread and milk costs covered already, and then you might be in it in a hodl fire over the day or a couple of days as well. So super exciting. And one of the things that Marius also mentioned was the dojis. Now, while I'm not very clued up on candle patterns, on normal candles and stuff, I do know what a doji means. And those of you doing the course, have done the course, we know what dojis represent. So potential reversal, some indecision, weaknessing, and some consolidation. And maybe we're going to see that turnaround. Obviously, it's going to take a little bit of time while the focus is on Bitcoin. But in the meantime, you can see, just look at your trading view, look at those watch lists and see what's happening on crypto bubbles. You'll see lots of green around the market. So, but yeah, as Wendy mentioned as well, Vicky, I think as a reminder, while we are currently busy with the last course of the year, we do have the next course coming up as well in January.
Yeah, we do. So let me just share my screen. Yeah, I was looking at the questions that people were asking, and gosh, that BRICS one is interesting. And in fact, we were talking about that a couple of days ago, how the election would affect either, well, BRICS, which South Africa is part of, or the Five Eyes, which Australia is part of, and they have very different views on life and elections. So that would be an interesting conversation to have. But I digress. So this is Bitcoin Trend and Forecast, the website. And first of all, I want to show people the HODL Fire, because Marius has been talking about these pivot tops, pivot bottoms. That is part of the HODL Fire. So right here in the products page on Bitcoin Trend and Forecast, this is the HODL Fire. And if you click into the HODL Fire, The very first option right here. Now, it says $31, but if you choose this option, put it in your cart and apply the coupon HODLfire7, you will get that for free for 7 days instead of $31. So this is a great option to try the HODLfire out for 7 days and see what Marius has been talking about, and also what Hodlnots talk about all the time. So if you haven't done that yet, go to the store, put it in your cart, apply the coupon. That's very important. Don't continue on until you apply the coupon, because you actually will then pay $31 instead of nothing. So that's the HODLfire. It has to have the pivots. We have a few videos, and if you are part of the HODLfire, we also have a call every other week. And in fact, in this time time frame, in this time, opposite to the happy hour hangout. So you get to jump on. John is great at explaining the different ways in which to trade with the HODLfire. So that's something else that we have popped onto this product. And then, as John said as well, we do have a course running at the moment. It's fantastic. We're in week 2. And after just really 7 days, we're paper trading already. So isn't that amazing? You go from nothing, and in 7-ish days, you know how to analyze a chart, and you start practicing doing that. So that's fantastic. Now, this is our course. Oops, we just have to go here to all products. Right there. And then you find the course. Now, this is the course. You can click into it and read all about it. The next one is actually not until the 17th of January. So you have a bit of time. But if you do sign up, there is some pre-course material to watch as well. So the reason why we say to do the course, it's not just a scalping course, it's a foundational course. So even if you don't want to scalp, I don't know why you wouldn't, but if you don't, you can learn the basis of long-term trading, day trading, and understand a little bit more when you're listening to Marius talk about his charts. And also, if you do want to use the HODLfire, you will be more successful if you know the indicators on the HODLnator, which is what we talk about in the course. So again, the next course is 17 January, right there. Now, the other thing is Black Friday is coming up in a couple more weeks. And we do have some special, we do have some specials coming out for Black Friday. So if you think you want to do any of those things I just said, hint, hint, you should not wait, but there will be some Black Friday specials coming out. But don't wait for the HODLfire, because it is free for 7 days regardless. So do that and then get ready for the Black Friday specials, which is, I can't believe, already this year, because all of a sudden it's November and it was just January yesterday. So there you go. So that's that. Yeah.
All right. So thank you for that, Vicky. We've got a couple of other exciting things. Some of them you guys already know about, but yeah, little teaser on Black Friday. So great options. There's a little cheeky comment in the chat there from, well done, anonymous attendee. Can't we get a coupon for long-term trade reports? That's a wealth of information. You guys can trial it for 1 month at a cost. So have a look at that. But the HODLfire 7-day free trial, and as Vicky mentioned as well, actually this time next week, we're going to be chatting more about the HODLfire. I know that the current students won't have had their HODLfire training yet, but hang on. It's definitely coming. You guys are right time, right place to be able to educate yourselves around the HODLfire. Focus on getting the scalping done so that you guys can get some great trades there before you consider that as well. For those of you already, you've done the course, done the hard work, the HODLfire, hopefully you guys are just gearing up to start profiting really well, because with these coins starting to move, we're seeing them above those 200s on the various time frames. So keep that in mind. Question around where will you share this video? It gets popped into the large announcement channels when they get uploaded. Otherwise, let me see if I can pull up the YouTube channel very quickly. I think it might be that one. Let's have a quick look. But in the meantime, thank you for Vicky. I think we put in those entrants for winning those BTAF tokens. If you wouldn't mind just spinning the wheel, and you can announce that now already, and then I'll get into this last section.
Yeah, I have been. I've been going through the chat, putting everyone's name down that said which coin and which percentage they would love to have. And Anna won this one. So
Hey, well
Anna, good for you. And if you would like to claim your BTAF token prize, please put in a support ticket and give us your BNB chain wallet, and we can get those off to you.
fantastic. Well done, Anna. Thank you very much for participating. That was the one that said 1% per candle per minute. That would be ideal, but obviously we're going to be able to see in real time what coins are really running. We grab and go. We get in, we get out, and we're taking profit, take our coins out of the wallet back into USDT, and they are safe. All right, there are a couple of other questions around. Yes, I saw that as well. Cool. Then what I'd like to quickly show you guys, and I'll drop in that YouTube channel shortly as well, is Australian Crypto Convention. So let's have a quick look at that. Just for those of you who are potentially joining us, we'd love to meet you guys and girls if you guys have the opportunity. And we thought we'd just drop a little teaser because do you guys recognize some of these names? All right, you should. There's some big names here. I mean, Cardano, right? Dogecoin, and a bunch of others representing. We even got the chief marketing officer of Binance.com, Binance Global, joining us as well. And so, just in general, for the Australian Crypto Convention, just I'm trying to prepare myself as well. We're looking at more than 10,000. They're anticipating about 15,000 people over the 2 days, a bunch of speakers. I've got a bunch of theaters as well, and we're going to be rubbing shoulders with a bunch of people. And just we thought we'd quickly show you whereabouts Bitcoin Trend and Forecast and Hodlnots is actually going to be. So that's our stand right there. We're right next door to the Tron Foundation, which is pretty amazing. There are a bunch of exchanges in and around here as well. 1inch Protocol, you guys might know. Casper, we're around as well. We've got OKX, one of the exchanges. We've got SwiftEX. We've got a couple others. And just in terms of, for those of you, who are going to be there, these are the theaters are going to be around. This is the keynote theater where all the big speakers are going to be taking place. They're going to be walking past us, down, interacting with us. And Vicky, we've also got a little bit of a heads up for people as well who can't join us in person. What can they do?
Yes, so well, two things. If you think you're going to be in Sydney at the time of the convention, which is 23, 24 November this year, so it's not that far from now, we do have some tickets. So normally they are $75 for the weekend, but we have some tickets that we would love to give away. But it's really only, and I don't want to sound militant, but it's really only for people that are in Sydney or can be in Sydney or are flying to Sydney, and they're definitely in Sydney because these tickets can't be redistributed once they're assigned to someone. So if you are there and you'd love to come, please pop a support ticket and say, I'll be in Sydney, definitely, I'm going, I promise. And then we can pop you some tickets. There are limited tickets, so really first come, first serve. So we'd love to see you there. And the second thing is, if you cannot be in Sydney, there will be a virtual kind of booth that you can log on. We don't know the exact details yet, but we will make sure everyone knows. So you can actually see what's happening in Sydney, look at all the 10,000 people, which is amazing. You think 10,000 people all talking crypto at the same time. Fantastic. So we will drop those details in as soon as we know how to access that. But we're quite excited about this.
Yeah, and one of the other things as well, we're going to try very hard. We're going to be very busy chatting to people all about Bitcoin Turf and Hodlnots, getting them to understand them, that we're a training, education, and signals company, trying to shift all of that. So one of the other things we're going to try and do, we're going to try and do a live broadcast as well from the Australian Crypto Convention as well. We're going to try it for the Saturday or the Sunday. It might be an open Zoom where I might have a webcam up and you guys can watch. Or it might be live on Facebook. It might, whatever it might be, we're going to see what we can wangle. And actually, so you guys can tune in and watch us live. You can see us chatting to everybody. We might be chatting to, Charles Hoskins or some other big names within the crypto space as well. So while we're working on that, we will keep all of you updated on that. So some very exciting things coming up in 2 weeks time. Cool. Anything else? I know there were a bunch of questions we'd like to get to, but actually the DTM call is happening in a minute. We appreciate all of you actually here on the call. It's pretty amazing to see all of you. Thank you for your questions. There are a bunch of other ones. Some of them can be answered in the lodge, so do drop them in there. I think maybe in 2 weeks time we can actually talk about BRICS. So thanks to Pello for that question, and for some of the other questions centered around Elliott Wave and long-term trade reports. You guys have that opportunity every week to be able to do that. That's tomorrow. But again, everybody, thank you. We're looking forward to seeing what happens with the confirmation of the presidential race. It's going to take a little bit of time, but as expected, Bitcoin's running at the moment. We've got altcoins looking to gear up and start running once that Bitcoin dominance drops. But in the meantime, we scalp, we use our hodl fire, get those pivot tops, get out, get back in the pivot bottoms. But more on that next week's call as well. Ladies and gents, thanks for your time. We're going to drop off this call. We've got another call. Our students are waiting, and that is this last course of the year. But don't forget, the next one, January. Check out all the details on the Bitcoin Tournament forecast or bitcointough.com. And we'll catch you in the next one. Marius, thanks for your time. Everybody else, thanks for being here.